Ball's rape accusations now?
Rape. Destiny called it rape. And he has his own reasons for that. He is an extreme personality. The tweets that he posts are meant to be extreme. They're meant to get reactions. Like look at his tweets. They're all meant to get reactions. All you can do is scroll through his Twitter feed and realize that he posts more extreme than what he actually believes to get reactions. Now, he said it was rape. I don't agree with that, but I think you, Loner Box, would agree that it's wrong.
Well, yeah, probably. I'm just
Okay.
Probably.
But I do feel like going
thing-
up at like, was it 2.5 against 7 now?
Yeah. But the thing is, like, look.
The transpanic defense.
This is what drives me nuts about the Destiny situation. Destiny, when we were talking about the stealthing discourse, he literally said that there are unconsequential forms of rape. And that was one of those unconsequential forms of rape. So now it's rape if a trans person pulls down their pants and they have a penis instead of a vagina, just for that act.
But
What?
Didn't this get
No?
reverse carded on him recently with the whole stealthing discourse? Like the point being that like you can stake out an extreme position, and obviously, okay. So let me do my negative indictment because I want to back up Josie a little bit. My negative indictment of Destiny is that some of this shit is just debate, and it doesn't really impact like the real world implications of what's being said. So, for instance, I'm sure the reason why Josie is deeply offended by this tweet is because
She's
trans
a fucking
people try
moron.
to interact with people on a sexual level. Rape is a very serious crime. So if there is a miscommunication and this incident occurs, then rape could be a pretext for violence within that. And this is a real conversation, not just an internet debate where you post like shit post onto Twitter and then, hey bro, you want to come on stream sometime? Like that's part of the offense. I'll share that I was equally offended during the stealthing conversation because I think there was like an unacknowledgement or a lack of acknowledgement for the capacity of people to basically have a fight, flight, or freeze response during a sexual interaction that they don't even know that they're going to have. And that showed a certain level of like immaturity or ignorance
What is he
that he was
talking
very
about?
confident about.
Wait, what?
But the question is starting these conversations, having everybody fight about it for 24 to 72 hours, actually landing on relatively solid discourse ground, is that of value or is that not of value?
Absolutely.
And is it worth the initial offense of the extreme statement in order to arrive at the productive discourse ground? Or is it just so toxic that we should do away with it? And I think that's part of the reason why like Destiny stands are standing him is because, yeah, he's a fucking asshole. But he's a goddamn lightning rod who has sparked like dozens of discourses over the past 2 years, and those have led to solid ground. And it wasn't just the left that he was going after, it was also the right that he was going after with similar discussions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the heart of the discussion because I think there have been moments where all of us have disagreed with Destiny and disagreed with him vehemently. Like the tweet that you're talking about, stealthing. I thought that Destiny's messaging on that topic, I thought it was irresponsible. I thought he could have said things better, and I didn't totally agree with him. But at the end of the day, I think it's important. You have someone, putting forth these controversial positions and questioning things and starting that kind of discussion and debate. I think that's essential on a platform like Twitch. And it's really sad to me that we've seen this incredible, just people moving onto their own platforms, this kind of echo chamber creation, and this push over and over to get rid of, to excise anyone who might challenge your beliefs. I think that's a serious issue.
Yeah, I guess when you look at the comment that you're saying to both of you is it is easy to say when the conversation isn't about you 20 times all the time. Right? Like the idea of like where you're like, oh, it's starting discourse, but it's on the backs of people that are literally suffering. It's like, is that
So we can't talk about them? We can't talk about that, those topics?
It's what it is, but yet the people who have to hear it over and over and over, and I sent
You don't
it
have to-
everybody in this chat where he laughed and said something about a trans person killing themselves and says maybe we should start embracing the 41%.
Listen,
Right.
don't watch
that's-
Destiny
You know,
if you don't want to
I
hear from
don't.
Destiny.
Look. Do you think I watch Destiny, or do you think that I'm dealing with the people that are triggered by his comments that are plastered all
Log
over his
off,
Twitter?
okay?
They
Like,
do.
if it's
Okay,
a
so see,
problem.
you see that? That is the win, right? The win is for me to get off the internet, so people like me aren't giving my opinions anymore.
Yes,
Just
yes.
log
If it's so
off.
bad that it's causing you
know?
like serious psychological
So-
issues, don't engage with it. You're not enforced to engage with Twitch
Wow.
discords.
That's exactly.
Wow! Log off?
Josie,
That's impossible. Wow, you telling me that I cannot just look at every single fucking tweet? That you're gonna be your like.
So the idea that now it's the responsibility for all trans people to just log off the internet if you don't want to
No.
see something transphobic.
Don't watch
Oh my
Destiny.
god.
Okay, I don't watch Destiny.
Bro, you are
I
obsessed
go
with
in
me.
on Twitter.
Holy shit, you
and
probably
I
have a
see
fucking
my
shrine of me
friends
that you-
who I interact with posting.
I don't think I can say
something
anything because I think it'll
Destiny
become
said,
transphobic. Never
and
mind.
that
You're-
is
she
what
has a
I
shrine
have
of
to
me.
interact
Absolutely.
with. It's the same thing with J.K. Rowling. Do you think I follow J.K. Rowling? Do you think I go in and look at J.K. Rowling? Absolutely not. But every time she tweets, I feel it. It's the same thing that happens when Destiny says some bullshit. He goes in there and he does that, and then his little network goes and just makes an entire ripple effect across the internet, causing severe damage to a community that is literally under attack with 184 bills across this country coming after us in a very specifically targeted way. And when the man like that goes up there and says, "Oh, maybe we
Is
should start
Destiny
embracing the
responsible
40
for the trans bills? What? No, like you can use
Don't
words on Twitter.
obfuscate.
If
Don't
your friends
obfuscate.
are like constantly sending you Destiny like tweets or pictures, like ask your friends not to do that or mute the word Destiny on your Twitter. Like you can take responsibility for your
so
own
blaming the
mental
victim.
health.
Blaming the
Yeah, 'cause
victim.
it's entirely self-inflicted.
Oh yeah,
right?
okay, yeah,
Like,
yeah. So
entirely.
blame the victim. Yeah, when he makes a joke about maybe we should embrace the 41%.
It's victim
joke.
blaming to
That-
fucking.
that's the- yeah,
Jesus.
Put it in the quote. Take a
He
look.
said he's trying to be above board and not
No,
embrace
go look
it.
at the thing. I literally put it in the chat. Go and look at it. Don't try to be
I've seen the
willfully
clip.
ignorant
I've
on the
seen the
bullshit. Well, he said maybe we should start embracing the 41% then. Yes, he did say that.
He
Don't
said it's
pretend
hard
that he
not
didn't.
to, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god. You understand what the
But then he
implications
doesn't
of that
want
is?
I do want to say right here that
Saying it's
this
hard not
wait,
to.
that usually we would play the clip in question so we could resolve it that way, but for obvious reasons we cannot do that. So people will just have to find the clip at another location in order to find whether it's after Josie is correct here.
Wait, who is correct? I don't remember what I said. I thought I said it's hard not to. Did I say we should start doing it?
This Turk has been waiting longer than most.
I don't think I said that,
so
no?
I've got just main points here because Josie, I want to be
You did, okay.
sensitive to this topic because you are obviously very impacted by what's going on here. But what you said earlier or maybe Dylan implied this, that it's 1v7 in this topic. I don't support Destiny as a whole creator. I support the fact that he shouldn't be banned because I believe everyone should have a chance to be on the platform in order to give their ideas, kind of like what Taft is trying to say. And if people don't like his ideas, we need to reinforce that what he is saying, what he is spouting is not a good idea because people can change their opinions. I've had my opinions changed on these panels and thanks to Connor pointing out Destiny's thing, I've learned additional stuff. So it's like, just because you are impacted by this and you feel like you're being victimized by it, not everyone here supports Destiny in this tirade that you're victim complexing on.
Yeah, can I say real quickly, Josie, I understand he says something once in a while that is bothersome, and I'm not discounting that at all. I mean, who am I to say that?
I can't just not look at
whatever.
Twitter.
I don't agree with everything he says. I barely look at his Twitter because
It's like the
pops up
fucking
on
meme,
Twitter
dude.
Because you have to be more bombastic on Twitter to get attention. That being said, he has brought on a ton of trans people. He has brought a lot of focus on trans issues. And do you not think the net positive outweighs the negative? Really?
No, he hasn't brought in trans people
Why?
the way that you're saying.
He's brought
It's
them
just
in front
not
of
true.
hundreds of
Right.
thousands of people.
Yeah, to get slammed. Like,
no,
that's not
he's
a
had
good
great
thing.
conversations about trans topics with trans
The
people. He's shown them
videos-
respect like nobody else has.
The video specifically that I watched from Destiny had that person on there, and I learned an incredible deal about it. So yes, some of the stuff he's saying is bad, but there's also the other side of the coin, right?
I mean, didn't he bring you on quite early on when you were running
When
for
I
office?
when I was running for office, I did. Yeah, he did.
Wasn't that
And then he
good?
immediately called me. And then he called me subhuman after I just criticized lightly on what was going on.
Criticize lightly?
He calls everybody subhuman. He
Look.
probably called me subhuman at one point.
All,
He's definitely be subhuman. I can
Hold on.
guarantee that
all,
one.
yeah. All I am saying is that what he has done by brigading, especially trans femmes. and
Dude, I'm
look,
out of
he's-
control.
He's gone on and he said specifically that if you are if you are not he, him, she, her, they, them, then you're not trans. He has specifically said those words. He has recently in the trans debate completely started
I'm
using
sorry,
transphobic talking points. to try to
Transphobic
prove that
talking
trans
points.
women don't belong in sports. Like, there are so many examples of how he's done it. And laughing at the 41% joke was appalling.
Appalling.
What is there except for
Uh,
he, she, they, them?
Are you kidding me? It's like
dear.
pronouns, fair, like there's so many.
Yeah,
there's
garbage
also other
internet
ways.
bullshit.
That is not garbage bullshit. That's
Oh, no.
life. That's people's identity.
That's real life.
Are you talking about people making up? Are you talking about? I'm sorry.
no, I'm talking about neo pronouns too.
Yes, neo pronouns. People making up their pronouns. There are certain-
fair, all of the type of things. Look, all I'm trying to say is like this whole thing about like trying to invalidate people's transness is bullshit. And that's what he's
If your
been doing.
transness is being a deer, I don't know.
We're
if you
not.
should
No,
have, like,
no. Okay. To be clear, we're not going to get into
See,
neo
this is what it's about.
pronouns
This is
because
Uh-oh.
Here's a quick to have a conversation. I know nothing about it, so I have no clue if the conversation's going any way responsibly or not. We are gonna have to just swerve out of that direction. I'm just gonna say that.
Sure,
straight up.
Dylan? I am an expert. I am a certified expert in neo pronouns, so it's up to you, though.
There you go.
I appreciate it. Sorry.
Fact check,
I will
let's
have
go.
I do want to go to Not So Erudite, because Not So Erudite has said nothing yet. And, raise your hand. On the list, we have Counterpoint, Sloaner, Sprout. Does anybody need to be added? Berg again? Okay. What's Erudite?
Yeah, so I've been hesitant to jump in because I think like the reality of the like 1.5 versus 6.5 is really real, and I want to be like really careful of adding to that. If you guys are maybe open, I'm really interested in kind of more of the meta question in this conversation, which is like, to what extent is provocateur behavior beneficial for certain political discourses? How can we use it to benefit certain groups? And to what extent does it maybe sometimes harm?
I'm just
the
writing a
exact
paper for
group
my
that maybe it
online
would be
English
aimed at
class right now.
helping,
Sorry.
or
All
vice
right.
versa? Because I think like a lot of this is like
Listening to
pretty
the
extreme
psychology
provocateur
lady talk.
behavior that we're taking issue with, and so I'd be curious about like to what extent, like where do we draw the line on these things?
So let me answer that question for you, Eurodite. I don't draw the line. I think everyone should be allowed on Twitch. I think everyone should be allowed to have their voice heard. I think that if you are going to be an extreme person and you're gonna try and post and publish these extreme views, then you're gonna have people that are going to go against those extreme views. You got people that are going to be able to break down that argument and actually prove it wrong by breaking down the argument in front of their own audience. The people that are in the middle, the people that aren't convinced.
Planetary later, there's nothing to go.
Because let's be
Oh.
honest, you're not going to convince me. to
Should I
become a
not be
liberal.
here?
I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me to become a liberal. I'm a conservative. But the people that are in the middle of both sides that aren't convinced, they're going to listen to what you say and they're going to be like, okay, I do realize he's wrong.
There's one
But
bus.
without
Oh.
you being there, with these extreme websites where they go to, where basically it's just extremists that Twitch has banned or YouTube has banned, it's just become extremist central over there. That they're going to become more. I forget the word. Extremized. Radicalized. They're going to become more radicalized just by being on that site because there's no actual discourse happening. They're just stating what they're saying. These people are taking it as fact. If they were on Twitch, they would have people saying, no, that's not right. look at this and how I break it down and how it's wrong, and take this and here's the facts,
Josie's
right?
incapable of doing that, though,
With these extreme websites, they're going to become more radicalized. They're going to become more extreme by the second because no one's there to say, no, this person's wrong. And as a matter of fact, we can't even play their videos on Twitch. Otherwise, we're going to get banned. So we can't even play their videos and say, look, this is where he goes wrong. Otherwise,
Can't criticize them.
Can I ask? I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do this. Can I ask you one question, Sprout?
Yeah.
If Jihadi John started a Twitch channel and he started going like, man, look at, oh my gosh, man, those Americans dumb, man. ISIS actually like, what would you, do you think that person should be banned? Jihadi John, you know?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I wanted to
By
say
the way,
about
I do want to
the,
clarify, Jihadi John would play League, okay? And he'd probably rank higher than Destiny. Okay, sorry.
What would
Good
you
one,
say?
Dylan.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know enough about League to tell you. Okay, so
I
we're
just wanted to say about the
Billion.
we got, I'm sorry, we got the list. We're second on the list. Counter. I mean, Loner, sorry. I'm mixing up. Counter.
Yes, I'm gonna capitalize on this. So the
Good job,
I
I've got
disagree with
10-person
Sprout.
panel.
I'll bring
Fucking
my
Dylan.
centrist nuance thing. I think that we should start socially enforcing real life rules. Where if you were in public and there was a trans person there, not gonna run up to their face and start misgendering them aggressively without getting your fucking getting punched in the fucking face. So no, I don't think that the internet has like a
Who does this?
unlimited
What are we even
amount of
talking
rules
about right
where
now?
you can
Why
be
is this
as
guy
rude and
talking?
shitty as you are on the internet as you are in real life? I think real life rules should apply. If this is something that can get me punched
Should
in
I
the
light
face,
this?
then it is something that can get me a suspension off of a social media website. I think that is fair guidance to start enforcing. And then going into discourse on the back of trans folk. That was the one thing that Josie said that like I super identify with, because I was offended by one discourse over the past 6 months, not every other discourse for the past 6 months. So I'm sure it can be exhausting, and I sympathize with that part, but the truth is that a lot of these discussions aren't settled. They're only settled within certain spheres of the internet. And what I mean by that is that whether we're talking about neo-pronouns or trans folks in sports or something like that, these are settled within lefty spheres, but the truth is that they don't dominate all of social media spaces, and there are other people that these arguments need to be had for. So while it's deeply uncomfortable, and I understand that because, like I said, I've only been offended by one discourse in the past 6 months versus every other one, I think these discourses need to happen. As a matter of fact, you can even see the progress within right-wing spheres where I know this is crazy to think about, but the fact that some trans folk are accepted within right-wing spheres because they're binary trans folk,
Oh my God.
and now the progress has moved to, okay, binary trans folk are a thing, but now non-binary isn't a thing.
I thought these
or
crowds didn't
gay
fucking
people
spawn
are a
again.
thing, but polyamorous people aren't a thing. So you can see the kind of the progression of discourse as it moves. Of course, conservatives and traditionalists are going to absolutely hate this, but the truth is that the language and the layout has completely changed.
Why does
because
this
of
take
discourse
so long?
and
Oh
ignoring
my
the-
God.
just the
It's
fact
like
that we
they
can
feel like they
even
need to
these
have as much talk
conversations,
time as possible.
I think does a disservice to the kind of conversations that you would be having in 2011, 2012, because basically what would happen is two people would show up, one trans, one non-trans. The non-trans person would have started saying slurs, and then they would have been kicked out, or the trans person would have quit. That would have been the quality of discourse that would have been happening in 2011 or 2012. Whereas now we're having conversations about, well, what are the lines on sports? What are the what are the hormone replacement profiles? How long does it take for competitive advantage? What are the kind of sports that we can kind of like move into safely versus not safely? These are all nuanced discussions. We're just all dickheads with webcams, so the conversations suck. But yeah, that's where I'm saying, like, as shitty as it is, I think that there is real progress and productivity here, and I'll leave it with that.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Well, I'll
Go
throw
ahead.
it to Josie.
Go ahead, Josie.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
say
wanna let
one more
Josie.
thing real quick.
Don't you
okay?
like Connor? Yeah, I do.
No,
It
no,
just
no.
takes a long time to say things sometimes.
So is everybody okay with Nazis not being on this platform? Just question.
No.
Hands up.
No.
No.
Yeah, no.
So y'all are all okay with Nazis being on this platform?
Yes.
I debate Nazis, yeah.
I'm willing to
I-
debate them too.
honestly-
Yeah, they need to be defeated. Like they need to be like brought out into the light and systematically destroyed. Right?
I want to
They're
just,
out
even
there.
though I'm not
People
even
know where to
supposed to
find them.
respond, I want to just put for the
Yeah.
record that I want them banned. Okay.
Yeah. So do you think it's Twitch's prerogative and right to ban Nazis off this platform?
I think a private company can do whatever a private company
It's their
wishes to do.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No.
do you agree then that would you say that the reason Twitch would ban Nazis off this platform is because they don't want that to be affected with their brand and they don't want to be associated with possibly hurting real life people?
The
with
most
their-
cancerous
Yes.
argument. What about the private company's ability
Okay.
to protect their brand?
speech.
Like,
And
okay,
let everyone have their
wow,
own point.
Josie, the hardcore capitalist now.
I
Okay.
would assume it'd probably be the same with KKK and really any affiliated groups like Dylan was talking about, like jihadists.
Equally
with-
bad stuff happens on the other side of the political spectrum too, by the
Sure.
way.
So if
you
Like
can
Haas and
ban those types
Hassan?
of people too.
Tankies is maybe, I don't know, like we can have that conversation, but as a trans woman and through all of the conversations, like TERFs are a hate group, right? TERFs are people who want trans people eliminated, they want them dead, they want them lynched. The
Jesus.
gender critical group is a radicalization pipeline.
That's not representative of
to
all TERFs, by the way, but
Basically,
okay.
elimination of trans people to be able to exist in this world. So for me, when I see transphobia and people who agree with those types of ways, I see them like Nazi, right? Because they want to see me dead just as much as a Nazi wants a Jewish person dead, or a extremely bigoted racist or a KKK member wants a black person dead.
And plenty
So
of
for me-
anti-fascists want people like
I'm
me to
sorry.
be gone.
I hate to interrupt, but Danobo, or Mover and Shaker Head, okay, has just provided me a transcript of what was said earlier, the entirety of the back and forth. I think everybody's okay if I read it. This has to do with the 41% joke. Everybody okay if I read it? Okay.
Sure.
Somebody donates, and the donation message says, "Take comfort from the fact in 30 years this person will kill themselves." Destiny responds, "Jesus Christ, it's tempting to embrace the 41 jokes, but I'm trying to stay, I don't even know why. This one, I'm trying to stay above board."
That was what I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
earlier. It was like, because
So-
Tafty, you were saying that, like, you said that he didn't want to say it, but yeah, you said it's tempting to embrace. I think you can. I mean, I think we can agree that, like,
tempting
there's a
to
pretty,
embrace.
there's a pretty fine line.
Like his
Yeah,
end
okay.
result is that he doesn't want to. That he's trying
Okay,
to be
okay,
above board.
okay. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Okay, okay.
Not to.
Yeah, so okay.
After you've been trying to destroy my life,
Okay, wait,
you
wait,
can't have a
wait,
single
wait,
shred of
wait, let's not
empathy.
derail. Okay, let's
Wait, what the fuck?
Anyway,
What do you
can
think?
I finish my point
I'll
real
let
quick
you
about what I
derail.
was saying?
I'll let you
I
finish,
just
and
want
then
to
I want
finish
to get to
my
the
point.
list. Erudite, I'm adding you. Counterpoints, you're already on it.
I'm
Jesus.
saying, as a trans woman, and I know a lot of trans people in this space also agree with the fact that TERFs and transphobes are a hate group that leads to the want for us to roadblocks ourselves to the point where it's like it's tempting to want to let that kind of thought go through your mind. That's what I'm talking about. The fact that the end result is for us to be gone and eliminated and dead.
Oh my god, dude. She's
is
so fucking
the reason
stupid.
why Twitch is going to probably start cracking down on this type of behavior, because it is ultimately ending up with the fact that suicide rates of our community is going on the rise currently because of the fact that there is a large community in society that don't even want us to exist. And a lot of these people are parents. And people are losing their lives. So this type of behavior increases that mental stress that is going to cause people to lose their lives
You know what?
with
Josie, I have a
tandem
question.
of all these bills.
Banning him doesn't get rid of those ideas, though, right? It doesn't push. It doesn't disappear
he's a
trans
leader
folks to
of it,
move him
though.
off.
A
Twitch,
leader.
right?
I'm the
It
leader of the
pushes people
trans
into
folks
an
now.
echo chamber. Like, even if you believe he's this horrible transphobic
Look,
like
Nazis
person.
are in a echo chamber, and so are KKK members, and so are
Okay.
all these really viciously violent people that want us dead.
And it's bad that society's become fractured in this way. Okay,
It's not
and when
bad
you
because I
push,
don't see
like,
it.
if you believe he's transphobic, right? Banning him off Twitch, it doesn't delete the transphobia from the real world. Like, if you don't want to see the transphobia on Twitch specifically, again, don't watch Destiny. Don't engage in spaces where Destiny is brought up, right? And as far as transphobia in the real world, that's going to, it doesn't push. It doesn't.
I'm trying to stay above board.
That was what I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
earlier. It was like, because
So-
Taft, you were saying that, like, you said that he didn't want to say it, but yeah, you said it's tempting to embrace. I think you can. I mean, I think we can agree that,
That's
like,
tempting
there's a
to
pretty,
embrace.
there's a pretty fine line.
Like his
yeah,
end
okay.
result is that he doesn't want to. That he's trying
Okay,
to be
okay,
above board.
okay. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Okay, okay.
Not to.
Yeah, so okay.
After you've been trying to destroy my life,
Okay, wait,
you
wait,
can't have a
wait,
single
wait,
shred of
let's not
empathy.
derail. Okay, let's.
Wait, what the fuck?
Anyway,
What do you
can
think?
I finish my point
Like,
really quick
you
about
do.
what I was saying?
I'll let
Yeah,
you
I
finish.
just
and
wanna
then I want to
finish
get to
my
the
point.
list. Erudite, I'm adding you. Counterpoints, you're already on it.
Jesus.
I'm saying, as a trans woman, and I know a lot of trans people in this space also agree with the fact that TERFs and transphobes are a hate group that leads to the want for us to roadblocks ourselves to the point where it's like it's tempting to want to let that kind of thought go through your mind. That's what I'm talking about. The fact that the end result is for us to be gone and eliminated and dead.
Oh my god, dude. She's
is
so fucking
the reason
stupid.
why Twitch is going to probably start tracking down on this type of behavior, because it is ultimately ending up with the fact that suicide rates of our community is going on the rise currently because of the fact that there is a large community in society that don't even want us to exist. And a lot of these people are parents. And people are losing their lives. So this type of behavior increases that mental stress that is going to cause people to lose their lives
You know what?
with
Josie, I have a
tandem
question.
of all these bills.
Banning him doesn't get rid of those ideas, though, right? It doesn't push. It doesn't disappear
he's a leader
transphobes to
of it,
move them
though.
off.
A
the bench,
leader.
right?
I'm the
It
leader of
pushes
the
people into
transphobes
an
now.
echo chamber. Like, even if you believe he's this horrible transphobic
Look, Nazis
person.
are in a echo chamber, and so are KKK members, and so are
Okay.
all these really viciously violent people that want us dead.
And it's bad that society's become fractured in this way. Okay,
It's not
and when
bad
you
because I
push,
don't see
like,
it.
if you believe he's transphobic, right? Banning him off Twitch, it doesn't delete the transphobia from the real world. Like, if you don't want to see the transphobia on Twitch specifically, again, don't watch Destiny. Don't engage in spaces where Destiny is brought up, right? And as far as transphobia in the real world, that's going to exist whether or not you ban him. So the solution, like, of banning him doesn't actually fix the problem in any way that you couldn't personally fix yourself by modifying how you engage with the online sphere.
Josie, so I have
Can
a
I
couple
jump in
questions.
now?
I want to go to the list. I'm sorry, there's a list here, a list that's developed over time. So
If I wait, then it's basically gonna be irrelevant if I wait.
I've been waiting for fucking ages.
that'd be
Just-
funny.
yeah.
And
Yes,
that's,
you'll be
and that's why
irrelevant.
you're gonna wait, because it'll then be funny, and I'll say haha. So I'm gonna throw it to Loner.
Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to go back to the 41%
next, I
thing.
promise.
Okay, so yeah, so Taft, like, of course, okay, yeah, he said, like, it's tempting to say that I don't want to, but I don't know why I don't. Like, okay, come on, like, plausible deniability here, right? Like, I know you're saying that just because he said he doesn't want to do it, that means he's definitely, not okay with it. But it's like, you wouldn't actually agree with that argument you just made. There's Destiny. He very convincingly makes
Since
the
when would
argument
I
that,
ever do plausible deniability?
technically
Just
didn't
because
say
you're a
storm
fucking
the building,
cuck
but he
pussy on the
basically,
internet doesn't mean that I
put the
am.
thought
You can't
process
simultaneously be on a
allows,
platform talking about having the most offensive
chance to take
asshole in the
its course.
world
So that's the
and then
same
say
with,
that I
like, you
operate
saying,
under a veil
it's
of
tempting to say that,
plausible
oh, I don't know why I
deniability.
don't
Why the
do
fuck would I
anything
do
thousands of
that?
people. It's an orange light at best. I think you can probably also agree that, like, the difference between that and calling someone like a subhuman piece of shit. Okay, whatever. If someone calls me a subhuman piece of shit, like, I guess if Destiny, they'll call it a rite of passage. But like, there's a bit of a difference between that and invoking like targeted, like, 41% is very targeted, a very vulnerable group. And like,
Yeah, I
you
think
can
we
probably
can
say
say
it's not
direct
okay.
respond.
I just wanted to say one more thing as well about the Nazis. The difference with the Nazis, though, is that like it's the behavior that goes with the ideology. So that's like, I think everyone who engages with Destiny in a bad way and he hits back at them, I don't think I often see it when people don't fire first, right? He reacts to people. Like, I don't think I tend to see him like go for someone unprovoked. That doesn't seem to happen. Whereas Nazis will attack people who didn't provoke them at all. That's their typical pattern of behavior. And I don't think you should expect people on Twitch everyone to have like balls of steel to expect targeted harassment from Nazis. Because like, if there are a bunch of Nazis on Twitch, they will deliberately target gay and fucking trans people and all that, and then those trans people will get chased off the platform. So you don't actually believe in free speech when you say that. You believe in taking a side and letting Nazis chase people off the platform, because they will do that.
Can I do a direct response to that?
Nope, Nexus Sprout.
Okay, so Josie, do you believe in the ACLU? do you support the ACLU?
Yeah, they fight for equality of humans.
Okay. Do you understand the ACLU has defended Nazis before? Has defended like the worst of the worst speech before?
Yeah,
Bro, they
because
defend them so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Loner Box. Go ahead.
Yes, like
Because Josie has no good
as far as I know, I might
response.
be wrong. Is they tend to defend people like more from like in a legal sense, whereas we're talking about Twitch. We're talking about a platform, like a gaming platform with terms of service. It's not really comparable.
Well,
I
Twitch,
think.
Twitch has become a platform where it's open discussion. That's what Twitch has become. It's become a platform that's been open discussion. And I think that if you're going to make it a platform that becomes open discussion, then you need to implement the laws of free speech, because at that point you practically make yourself the town square. Just as Twitter actually they testified underneath court that they were practically the new town square. So you can look at social media as the new town square. Now, with that being said, the ACLU has defended Nazis before. They've defended the worst of the worst speech before. Why? Because you need to defend the worst of the worst speech in order for there actually to be free speech. Because if you don't defend the worst of the worst speech, there is no free speech. Eventually, your speech is going to be bad speech, and you're going to be banned for what you're saying if it keeps going down this line. Now, that is why the ACLU defends Nazis, defends the worst of the worst speech, because free speech depends on the worst of the worst speech being allowed to be said.
Again, the ACLU were defending so I think their big controversial thing was they defended like neo-Nazi marches, okay? Because again, this is a legal sphere. We're talking about Twitch, where again, like, do you think that
According to CBS
I need to know if you think this though. But if you think Nazis being on Twitch, do you think they will succeed in harassing like trans people or vulnerable people off the platform? Will they succeed in doing that? Do you think they'll try to do that?
I honestly don't think so. I think people will still be here. I think this is a very low platform for the right, but yet I'm still here. I think you will find people that are of a certain class that have enough self-security that they're able to actually talk and not be able to take the shit people give them
I can't even
and be
say
able
my
to
math.
continue to push their message. Those are the people that are going to be the icebreakers, and they're going to be able to allow so many more people of their thinking to come behind them. And I think that's where you're going to find people to
Put my
break
food in the
open
oven, one
the
sec.
area for their thought of school. Or their school of thought. So when you bring it up that way, no, I think there's going to be an icebreaker. It's going to bring their school of thought, and then people are going to follow that icebreaker. They'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna start talking about this too. I'm gonna start bringing this up too, because this is a matter that is important to me, and I think that I need to start talking about it.
I'll bite the bullet, Loner Box, and I'll say, yeah, some trans people are not going to feel comfortable on the platform if there are people who are bringing up controversial things, or there's a community of people who go into chats and challenge trans people on very fundamental things that they don't want to talk about. For example, like their gender identity, the core of who they are, and whatnot. But I think that we have to one, give people the tools to manage their own community and to ban people. And if that's not enough, I don't think that there's like I don't think there should be like a fundamental right to use, to just go anywhere you want without ever seeing any kind of controversial items. I think it's good for society and for the health of our discourse that there are controversial topics discussed, and that those things are discussed and challenged and debated openly. Right? And I think it's negative if we are just catering to like the most sensitive people in society and modeling how we do discourse off of that.
Can I pretty please respond?
So no, Turk has to go. He's been waiting longer.
Go for it, Connor. Go for
Thanks,
it, man.
Turk. I love you so much. All right, so Loner, I wanted to respond to you directly. So number one, I just want to explain kind of like my generation, because I think Destiny and I are approximately the same age. We were saying horrific shit, mind-bendingly like awful shit in the 2000s, and we thought it was hysterical. F slurs, N slurs, T slurs, every slur that you could imagine, just strung together in sentences. Instead of like, we basically boiled it down where we were playing like tactics in Call of Duty, and instead of calling out actual tactical moves, we were just using slurs for communication, okay? That's what the thousands were like. Now, as we've evolved as human beings, we've had to stop doing that, but there's always been this temptation to say evil, nefarious, edgy, taboo, dog shit, okay? It's just on the cusp of every single white man's heart to just spam slurs in chat, okay? So basically what I'm saying is there's always a temptation to be edgy. There's always a temptation to be a piece of shit. There's always a temptation to be a dick. And with that 41% joke, while you're reading it as, oh yeah, actually I agree with the 41% joke, I think this all comes in the context of Destiny basically losing his Twitch partnership like last year, which I think was like $250,000 or something like that. And so I think that being frustrated with a certain caliber of woke person that you don't agree with on where the lines of language and humor are, it can lead you to being frustrated and making shitty, edgy fucking jokes. So I can see where you guys are saying it's cutting one way, where he just wants to say a 41% joke because he hates fucking trans people and he wants to stab them in the chest. I could see it going the other way, where he actually genuinely does like trans people, but he's fucking pissed off and he's tired of all these woke scold fucking dickheads policing his language, so he just wants to say something edgy and shitty in order to throw a grenade in the room. I am telling you, this is the way most people feel. As a matter of fact, within my Discord, because I debate leftists primarily, is primarily made up of leftists who hate fucking leftists. So it's literally leftists using the fucking F slur all day. And when I'm drinking a beer and playing Halo with them, I have to remind myself that it's not 2007 and I'm playing with a bunch of bisexual men who love using the F slur and I can't use it. So the point being that this is all immediately under the surface, and it's more in this pseudo-professional setting where everybody puts on the pseudo-respectability of the TOS, okay? And then I did want to bring this up. The second point that I wanted to address is you were asking whether or not there should be fascistic thought leaders within social media spaces and if they should be allowed. I think that if you are promoting an ideology, however nefarious, whether that's Islamism or basically jihadism, not jihadism because that's specifically violent, but like fascism or something like that. I think that if you're articulating this as an ideology to be studied and understood, but you're not violating TOS, then that can be like debated from an academic standpoint and left alone from an academic standpoint. Where it crosses the line, though, is when you start engaging in the negative behaviors like brigading, harassment, stalking, all that kind of stuff. And I would like to see not only enforcement mechanisms where you get banned off of social media platforms for doing that stuff, but also like criminal shit. Because basically, if you're doing like stalking, let's say that you're stalking somebody, you're trying to dox them, you're finding their personal information, you're publishing it online, you're harassing them, you're calling their family members, you're publishing their financial information. If this was a in real life scenario, that would be a prosecutable crime. The only reason why it's not a prosecutable crime is because we're on the internet and there's no enforcement mechanism. So on one hand, I want broader freedom for ideologies to be propagated. On another hand, I want these negative social behaviors to be policed, both from a TOS and also potentially from a legalistic standpoint, depending on how far it goes.
If I can provide an olive branch and maybe a bit of middle ground too.
Well,
I agree.
Well, I'm
I
sorry.
think that,
I need to silence a trans voice and hand it over to a conservative man. Okay? Turk?
Fucking bigot.
I'll take Connor's spot later.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll trade it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, y'all are having good conversation, and I don't want to
Okay, I'll throw it over to Taft, and then we have Iride and Erudite.
okay, yeah, just to find some middle ground. I think it's very legitimate to ban people off of the platform if they're, for example, using slurs, or if they're like actively encouraging their community to harass people, not just engaging with a trans person, but actively saying like, you need to go harass this person, get in their mentions, say these things to them. I think those are like legitimate bannable things, and they're not productive. They don't, contribute to the discourse or whatever. And so I think that if we're just banning those things, yeah, I think I'm all for that. But I also want to agree with, what Counterpoint is saying. And that's that, if you're discussing, for example, like radical Islam beliefs, but if you're doing it in a mature academic way, in a way that like, isn't actually planning a crime on stream or engaging in violence on stream or using slurs, I think that that needs to be something that we have the freedom to openly debate and discuss.
Okay, next is Irai.
Oh, so I just want to speak about Josie's point in
Wow,
general
thanks,
about
Lewis. Hello,
hateful
everybody.
people. I think that these groups of Nazis and bigots and racists, they're hateful because of a lack of empathy. And I think that comes from a lack of exposure. I know when I was younger that I had some negative ideas about people because I only saw things on the internet or in movies and stuff like that. I grew up with Ace Ventura. You know what I mean? And there was some bad things in that movie that made me feel one way. But once I got older and I was exposed to more people, that got rid of those things. And I realized these people are just like me. And so I think if you take that away and his audience, Destiny's audience, for example, and they don't see him engaging with anybody, then they're going to continue these negative stereotypes. Maybe that's just my opinion, but that's my lived experience. And I think that, you know, especially on Twitch, where 6% of Americans use Twitch, 1% of them regularly get their news. How many people is Destiny reaching with this outburst once in a while? And again, I don't think that negates all the good he does. I think that there are people out there that look and research and find ways to prove a point and fit their narrative about Destiny and completely ignore all the good things he does. And I don't care if people say, oh, this guy's just kissing Destiny's ass for help, whatever. It's the truth. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you want to respond to that, Josie, since that was last year general?
Yeah, and we can start wrapping this topic up because it's just gonna go around and around again. So I will just say that with the picture that Taft and painted and Connor just painted of like Destiny being this academic research, like well-meaning, like all this type of stuff, he has openly many times talked about how he's aggressive to people, that he goes after people with smaller platforms.
No,
he's been abusive. He's just abusive. And he should have not been on that one point when somebody gave him money on a dono is like, oh, that's fucked up, you're out, right? That would have been able to say like, no, fuck you, dude, like you're gone, right? But it wasn't. It was like, oh,
yeah, why the fuck would I keep bending the knee to your community? Like, it's
right?
so
But
cringe,
he knows
dude.
that he's
What an
walking that
entitled
edge of
fucking
almost
loser.
man. I mean, hell, he even went on NFTs because he knew he would eventually get banned for this type of behavior. And I'm gonna push back with you, IRI. I love you. You know that. You know, we fight on the same battlefield of politics and trying to get, you know, good legislative policy that helps people. But in my opinion on this, like having people who do good things sometimes and then does a lot of negative harm a lot of times is not a justification to keep this going. Like, look, Destiny's been banned many times for these type of behaviors.
No, it's one other time before.
Many times and came back. Many times and came back. And it's just, Twitch is just tired of it. And so for me, I look at it as hateful behavior that has been platformed over and over and over again. And the trans community, I'll tell you, the trans community has been very happy to see this aggressive person leave this platform because it makes our community better as a whole of this community of Twitch streamers. And even if you liked him and maybe he platformed you, maybe he didn't, the fact of the matter is all of you are good enough without Destiny being here propping you up. And it's about having that content that you can create, that you can be able to have good, intelligent discourse. And don't get me wrong, we're supposed to debate trans sports later, and I really want to get to that, and I want to have an intellectual conversation about what the advantages are of HRT and how it equals things out. And I'm ready to have that intellectual conversation because it's very relevant to the fact that 83 bills in the country, 74 bills across the country are trying to specifically ban trans people from sports. I'm not saying that we can't have discourse about trans people. I'm not saying that we can't have an intellectual conversation
Dude,
about
kill their
me.
Oh god, this fucking horse.
Me and Sprouticus had a very good conversation about trans issues, and it turned into a great conversation, and I feel that it did an actual good. But having a continual aggressive person that does attack and does do this harassment campaigns on people is a good thing. And if you gotta believe that logic because you have to play it through. Like, he's an aggressive individual.
Can I just respond quickly, Josie? To me, this is the same as Bernie Sanders taking Joe Rogan's endorsement. You've got to deal with some people that aren't perfect in order to achieve change.
Joe Rogan isn't calling, isn't Destiny.
I'm worse than Joe Rogan?
This problem.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan
So Josie,
And Bernie took his endorsement, and he was thrilled.
Jesus.
Thrilled.
Look,
it wasn't even a great
look.
endorsement.
I am not here to defend Joe Rogan, but I will tell you that Destiny is worse because of the individual attacks on trans.
Holy shit,
Because that
dude.
individual attack.
Not
is so
delusional.
harmful.
Absolutely not delusional, by the way.
Josie,
I guess-
do you think that people who generally talk bad about trans people or talk or even transphobic, do you think they don't deserve a space to actually talk where it's not going to be people that are just more radicalized, and to where actually people like you can pop in and say, hey, this is where this is wrong, this is where this is wrong? Do you not think they deserve that space to actually engage in the public discussion?
I mean, I've had many of those conversations that weren't Destiny.
Press X to
right?
doubt. I doubt this
And
person has
that's
ever
the
talked to a
thing,
person they
like
disagreed with in their
Destiny
entire life without trying to
specifically
spam report them
look,
after.
Do you realize that a lot of the reasons why a lot
There's so many
don't go after
copy-pasted people
Destiny
like
in
this.
particular is because they're afraid of the backlash, doxing, attacks,
Doxing?
all of those things.
Who has ever been doxed?
Like, I mean, everybody here's got to know that, right? Like, nobody takes a shot at Destiny because of the fact that his entire community
No one-
dogpile you
I
like shit.
feel that
It's
fear
impossible
every
to
day
go after
because a
him.
lot
People
of people
dogpile me.
love to
Shots
do
at
that.
Destiny.
I'm getting
He's a fucking
wait,
asshole.
Every single day. Oh my god. What the fuck?
I'm struggling because a lot of these accusations, like I would understand Josephine. Like I agree that there are times like I would never say the things that Destiny does, basically ever. That's not my style. The issue is that like a lot of these claims about like brigading and all these things like seem like pretty unsubstantiated, like when I've like looked into them. And my concern is that like there seems to be like a bit of a narrative being built of like vilifying Destiny, which is completely flying in the face of so much good that I've seen. And yes, there's going to be problematic elements, and I'm willing to explore what those are and the proper responses to those things. But my issue is that it feels like right now, like there's so many accusations. I have like some of the things that I've seen that are being levied at him and his wife and his family are like mind-blowing, targeted
Saying
attacks.
Melina's a
Whereas
Nazi?
Most of the stuff I've seen from him is retweeting specific individuals in a public space versus getting like, I don't think he's DMing people. My understanding is that when people in his community are going out of the way to degrade, to hate on people,
We
to
ban
do any
them.
sort of like banning and toxic, and like these behaviors that I would agree are super toxic, they get banned
Yep.
from all of his
That
communities.
dono didn't get banned. That dono didn't get banned.
How do you ban a
They joked about
dono?
it immediately? And look, Erudite, I'm not trying to sit here and say you're wrong and you don't understand on how it's happening. Look, I know a lot of people who have been personally hurt by Destiny when it comes to what his community has done, and most of them are trans femmes. And it's very clear. And look, do you think that all these trans people are just lying about it?
Josie, can
The
I
issue
point
is that there's
5?
Oh my
trans
God,
people
are
on
you-
the other side that are supporting him, and so it's like the issue is like to act like it's like
It's
this
not
man
as
is-
many as the other way. It's not. Look, are you trying to say that all of these people who have made this claim over the last 11 years are just lying about it?
11 years?
Honestly, I
Are
would
you
like
saying
to
I'm
see
wait,
way
wait,
more.
wait, wait,
I
wait,
lie
stop.
Bro,
about
there were no trans people on the internet 11 years ago. It was the worst place in the world to be a trans person. Are you serious?
Voices. Terrible.
Listen, Destiny's gone. Someone needs to take the rule. Right?
Okay, sorry. Erudite, you can finish quickly?
Yeah, it feels like a lot of these allegations are like fully aimed at just being like Destiny is a big evil villain, which like fly in the face of so many things that I've seen of him, like debating with staunch conservatives, making a space in the Twitchosphere for leftists to actually exist. Like it seems like so many of these claims that you're making, like you're making huge claims right now.
I am,
And it's
because
like,
they
I
don't
haven't
think
seen
they're real.
evidence
Josie, can I back you
for
up?
any of this.
Yeah.
Josie,
And
can I
that's-
pretty please
that's a
back you up?
concern to me.
Okay, counter,
Okay,
you can
so-
back them up, then we gotta go to Turk.
Yeah,
who's been
so-
waiting so unbelievably patiently. Lona, write your name down.
Okay, so I love like throwing playful elbows at the DGG community. Sometimes they're not taken playfully, and also, we've had debates in the past where it's been contentious. I'll put it that way. The way that the DGG community often dogpiles is literally getting into your mentions and saying, "I'm not harassing you." Where's the picture of harassment? Where's the picture of harassment? Where's the picture of harassment? And it's 50 fucking people in your mentions asking for the pictures of harassment. So if you took a snapshot, like literally, if I took a snapshot of the people who were in my mentions, or if I took a snapshot of the people who were in other people's mentions, it would be 50 to 100 fucking people saying, I'm not harassing you. Which, by the way, for me, is the digital equivalent of somebody sticking a fucking finger in your face and pretending that they're not in your personal space. So while I do understand, like, I'm halfway with what Erudite said, where I haven't seen substantiation of the like stalking or doxing or criminal activity or anything like that, but I have seen Twitter and fucking comment YouTube dog piles basically do like I said, not saying a malicious comment, but 500 fucking people saying a mildly annoying comment. And to pretend that that's like borderline, like I'm not saying Destiny endorses this or anything like that, but to me, that shows a certain cleverness within the DGG community, where they know that as long as they individually don't say, hey, you're insert...
This is so bullshit. So, like, somebody says that, like, Destiny's community harasses me, and he's a rapist. And then, like, 1,000 people tweet at you, like, wait, where is the evidence that anybody harasses you? Where's the evidence? Oh, look, see? You're harassing me. I gotta get my food, 1 second.
Without having the receipts actual effect. So that's where, for me, this area is a lot more fucking nuanced than DGG Sims want to fucking do.
Hey, Connor, you think Destiny can control even 50 people saying stuff in his community? This is a guy who's thousands of people watching him. He has no control over this stuff.
Can I do the direct response? I think that, okay, so I think this is part of where I'm sympathetic to both sides, because I'm a content creator and I went from, 1,000 subs to 15,000 subs. There are a lot more people who are saying annoying shit to me every fucking day, and the fact that they don't think that I will come down and say, hey, motherfucker, here's the stupid shit you fucking said. The fact that they think that I won't do that makes me do it more. And I quote tweet the fuck out of people if they're being annoying and shitty to me, because fuck them, right? But
Destiny's a huge operation, man. Everybody thinks he's some guy who just presses start stream and then he sits there all day and replies to Twitter. The guy's got businesses and stuff, man. Like,
okay. No, but this is what I was gonna say is, so I'm sympathetic to Destiny's perspective, where people come at you and they think because you're big, you're not going to go back after them. And it's like, fuck you, I'm a human being. I got feelings. I'm coming back after you, right? I'm sympathetic to that part of it. The part of it that I think we have to acknowledge as a power dynamic is that if you're a fucking person with 100 follows or whatever, and you quote tweet that motherfucker, then they're going to get dogpiled. It's just the nature of the beast. And then here's one more thing where I'll say towards Destiny, because I'm acknowledging the power dynamic that I think goes against him, is one of the things that he has said in the past, and I think this is an almost verbatim quote, is I don't start that, right? Like, I don't start that. You come after me, you better believe that I'm going to come after you.
Where's the full dono quote?
And if you don't want me to come after you, then don't fucking quote tweet me in the first place. So I think that's almost fair. But I also come from like a Christian meta ethic where like if people are being dicks, it probably means that they're having a shit day for a different reason. And I think he's probably evolved enough to know that he's like pissed on the shoes of a lot of fucking people, and to act like those people, it's a cycle of violence, okay? So pretending that you're not perpetuating the cycle of violence is a little bit, it feels childish at some point.
I think you also have to consider like what kind of side you're on when you're doing this, because I remember for ages I used to think like people would complain about the Twitter left. I'd be like, what? I don't understand this problem. Like, where are these people? Until I tweeted out that Kyle Rittenhouse was in self-defense, and then the fucking onslaught, like the bad empanadas and the fucking, the gang comes in. And then I mean, I actually found that a lot more rabid than anything I've got from DGG. I mean, I'm watching their chat when I speak, and they get pretty like. They don't seem to like me, but it's like a bunch of knitted scarves, It's not really. I don't really see it as like that intimidating. But like when you, I think, what was I gonna say? I don't really know that many examples of people who were attacked by Destiny who didn't throw shots at him first. I mean, you can definitely make the point. I mean, that there are times when he like gets into this weird like one-upmanship, and it's like, I think for me the Doe thing was like pretty fucking inexcusable, but like I feel like a lot of people who actually go for who get this attack from Destiny are people who throw shots first, right? And I don't know, I think like using that as a reason to get rid of someone off the platform is just
This
really
stupid fuck isn't even listening. She's just talking to her
I
own
don't know.
fucking
I think
circle
it's
jerk
maybe
stream of
confusing like
dipshits.
politics with like just being like in a safe space. And I think like if you're not really going to be in a space where people are going to attack you, because it's not like this is exclusive to Twitch, right? Politics since the dawn of time has been about people attacking you and brigading you and sending you mean letters. It used to be people sending you mean letters or turning up outside a politician's house. It's like if you're not prepared to like take those kind of attacks, then maybe like you're not doing politics, or there's a sphere of politics that you shouldn't be in.
I guess like my issue with a lot of this is there are so many claims being made against Destiny that has so little evidence behind it, and it's like there's some serious claims being made when I've publicly watched people call him a rapist, walk it back a little bit, but then like still make claims that are actually inaccurate to what he'd even claimed before. And look, the stealthing conversation, I've said openly, I don't think he said it in a great way at all, right? The issue is that like there's so many claims being made against him that are unsubstantiated, these brigading claims and everything. And it's like, we need to be really careful before we make claims about people when we have no evidence for it. Like,
I have evidence when I was brigaded, when I went and made a comment about Destiny brigading Maddie, I was put on his deep panel. There were people calling me, oh, look at this open
What do you
mouth,
think
like,
brigading
blah, blah, blah.
is?
They were
That's
calling
not
me-
brigading.
They were even saying transphobic comments. There was like that clip went around in that forum for a while. You know, and that's how that went. Like, and if you don't believe brigading happens, then you just call me a liar. Then just do that.
I
Because
didn't
that's
say
exactly what you
brigading
did.
never happens. I said I need evidence that Destiny has actively coordinated or encouraged or been behind any of these brigades. Because absolutely there are going to be bad
Close
actors
your
in
mouth,
the
you
community,
stupid
and
fuck.
I'm
You don't have evidence for anything.
unwilling to even see
the
that
leader
there
of
are
that
not
community.
people.
He's the leader of
The
that
issue is that
community.
you are not fully
Is
culpable
every-
for every
is every
action.
content
You have to
creator-
do your best to control your group as much as possible, and then apologize when they screw up. Which is why when
So
I went on a
what?
debate with Chud and I got a ton of misogynistic comments and stuff, I just took it directly to Chud and he just handled it personally. And my understanding is that Destiny does that all the time as well.
But that's not actually the case because he continues to create it over and over and over. They're like, you realize that he continues to create it over and over and over. Exactly like pointing the finger at somebody and being like, don't arrest this person that I don't like. It's like, come on.
I mean, if you're on Twitch and you're debating someone and you're engaging with that person, like the inevitable reality is that some people are going to dislike what you said, right? And I think it's a far cry to say, listen, I engaged with this big figure and a lot of people disagreed with him and came into my chat and made that clear versus, oh, Destiny actively coordinated this brigade of someone. He got people together and said, you know, we need to go in this person's chat and harass them. These are
But
very different things.
this absolutely cuts both ways, though. Okay, and the way that it cuts both ways is basically, I think I spoke to it earlier. It's a content and attention farming tactic to be outrageous, to have somebody onto your stream, to debate them, try to make them look like a fool, and then basically end the interaction. And then if people hate you for the way that you engage with that content, then you basically, you quote tweet the shit out of them or make fun of them for the lulz of the muse. And I'm addicted to this pattern as everybody else is. Josie was talking about like a better Twitch where we have a less toxic environment. I'm as addicted to the blood sports as everybody else. I don't think a better Twitch is possible. I just think we're going to get worse iterations of the same pattern. But at the same time, is there not some responsibility for the clout farmers' perspective, where maybe it's not fair that they got banned, but also you kind of have to accept? It's the same thing with like Vosh with like the pedo comments. It's the same thing with Vosh with the Glass Israel and all that kind of stuff. He knew he was making an inflammatory comment, but he also knew that he was going to get attention off of it, and he's been paying a price ever since. This is the same thing with the stealthing conversation. This is the same thing with having the debate with Hans Varkir immediately after, where he was emotionally compromised. This is the same thing as having the basically knowing that the entire of Twitter sphere, political Twitter sphere, was sensitive about trans sports specifically because of all the banning bills, but saying, hey, listen, I've been doing research. I'm staking out a position, and I'm going to go on a 9v1 fucking panel debate against people affirming my position. Now, I think that can be productive. I think that can be awesome. But when you mean too close to the sun, you get fucking torched. This is Icarus all fucking over again. So, you know, it cuts both ways.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the list. Turk, your time is now.
Yeah, so basically, this could probably be my closing too. You know, Rose, I completely feel and I want to continue to be respectful to the conversation that's going on, but you got to remember, if you put the shoe on the other foot, there's plenty of other people in other communities that have been dogpiled and have been put on really strict notice in all of these different social media circles. There's been a long time as a conservative where I've had a target literally on my back, and if I show my face on a panel, I get dogpiled. You could probably mention 5, top tier, political panel shows. If you're on that panel, you're gonna get attacked. So you kind of grow a little bit of a thick skin. You kind of expect some of the attacks that are coming your way. So it's like, you can't just say, hey, I can't, this is not fair on me because of X, Y, and Z. That's how discourse happens. It happens on people's backs sometimes. And it's unfortunate that, that's how it starts. But if you can't, do the damage, you just need to, find alternative ways to discourse.
You guys agree that, like,
Okay, I'm going to throw it now.
brigading is like a, okay, I never care. Brigading is like a deliberate thing that communities do. It's not like when you get, like, maybe go back, maybe I did say this. I shouldn't have if I did. But like, when I debated JonTron, I think I got more hate after that than anybody I've ever debated in my entire life, ever. That was like the most stressful night of my life. Every account I had was being hacked. Every single, like, everything on all social media, thousands of Twitter mentions, not even like likes or retweets, just mentions, like an hour. Like, it would be like 7,000 more messages, like 3,000 more messages, right? But I never said like JonTron brigaded me, or after I fought with JonTron, his community brigaded me, they brigaded me. They didn't brigade me. It was all of his fans, because I fought with him, and obviously they were mad as fuck about what I said to him, or about how the conversation, so they all was attacked, which of course I expect, right? If you're a JonTron fan, of course you're gonna attack me out of the conversation. But I'm not sitting here crying and saying like, oh my god, he brigaded me, No, brigading implies a level of coordination and organization. Like, that's what brigading means.
Anybody using any type of slur at somebody for their immutable characteristics. I am. Like,
Beautiful.
if somebody's saying that about an immutable characteristic about themselves, I'm against that type of rhetoric and that type of behavior. And it comes back to Twitch again. Like, Twitch wants people like me on the platform to occur, not just a bunch of cis white guys all the time. Like,
God,
that's
dude.
what it is.
Kill me.
And in Twitch,
I don't even like
that trans people that, who are people of color in particular.
There are like so many absolutely deplorably horrible fucking things I could say right now, but I'm not gonna say it.
They know it's a good business decision for them to have more content creators that are a little bit more diverse instead of them getting bullied off by certain individuals. And look, like you said, being too close to the sun, he's been here for 11 years, that he should know better out of it.
It's like they're saying the most sus things ever for, like, God, what a fucking loser, dude.
But
Now
he doesn't
he's
know
gone.
why he was banned.
He'll probably know later.
No,
But we all know that it's a cumulation of probably of a lot of different things. So when it comes down to it, like, Twitch is making a business decision to try to keep people on this platform. Hell, do you think, like, look, I'll tell you a personal thing. I thought about leaving Twitch after
What does this
the
person
death
have, like,
debacle
50 fucking viewers?
When the Brigaders came after me. Like, I seriously considered it. I was like,
Fuck, I don't
maybe
even know
shouldn't
what
be
this
here on
person's name is.
platform
What is it?
because
Who-
I'm a professional. I have a day job. I do this for a hobby. This isn't something that I'm doing to try to make money and make this my full-time career. It really did seriously cross my mind of like, is this really worth it? Is this really worth being on a platform where people are going to come at me like this? I thought about it. I really did. And I almost pulled the plug and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do Discord only. And I decided not to. My community said that they're
Bro, you have
fight for
80
me, and
viewers.
I'm glad I stayed.
Nobody gives a fuck
But
about
in
you.
re-
Nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cared about you when you were running for Congress. Nobody cares about you now on Twitch. What do you mean? Like, wow, Twitch is trying to keep people ignorant. No, they're not. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't know who the fuck you are. Nobody knows who the fuck you
You
are.
no longer a part of this platform because directly his behavior and behavior.
The
of,
only
like,
thing that people know
that
about you is
brought-
that you're just another, like, trans person online that calls Destiny transphobic. That's like your biggest claim to fame, is you're part of the anti-Destiny brigade. That's the only reason people know anything about you. Because you, along with Maddie, are making false rape accusations and doctoring DMs for my community. Like, imagine having that big of an ego with that small of a footprint. Jesus Christ.
Where they're just like, you know what, we want to have more inclusivity on this platform, and if there's one person continually being reported over and over and over again by people saying he's transphobic, or saying he's sexist, or saying he's a rape apologist, or saying he's platforming pedophiles, like all of these things are a part of the entire collage that makes this platform not great for people who look like me.
And that's why
And
I'd
that's what
like
it
to
is.
go back to what Eurodite said. There needs to be concrete proof, and we need Twitch to provide said proof that said this is what broke the camel's back. It needs to be provided, not just these theories of, oh, well, the blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, he's done some bad things. A lot of people have mentioned that in this panel. He's also done a lot of good things. And it's like, we need to know what the actual reason was in order to condemn that action.
I said
and
that at the
go
beginning.
forward.
I said that at the beginning, Kurt. I do not disagree that Twitch should give a reason why. I'm not against
no,
that.
fuck, I need to stop.
And
I need
you
to
know,
stop.
so
I need to
for
stop.
me,
I need to stop.
if Twitch
I need
wants
to
to make
stop.
that business decision to get people off this panel like him, or not panel, but sorry, off this platform like him, then for me, it's a safer space for me now. I'm just gonna say
until
it.
the next Destiny or someone like him comes up and does the exact same thing. It's not going to stop. Sorry to
I
break
know
your
it's not
bubble
gonna
there.
stop, but it's like, you know, it's like a streamer gate ready to happen.
Do you think we could
Happy
maybe
Rising.
give it? Josie, do you think we could have an example of like maybe what you think the worst thing Destiny's done, and maybe see what the panel thinks about that?
The worst thing? Well, I named a couple of things, like the thing that he kind of like, oh, it's hard to not
What?
do the 41%. What? Go ahead, IRI.
What about the good things he's done?
Um,
Why are we all so focused on
why
the
don't
Nobody ever
we
talks
name-
about the
why
good
don't-
stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
IRI.
Destiny-
Why don't we
what's
name the good
best
things Hitler
thing-
did?
What's the best thing that Destiny's ever done?
He lost
I
the
don't know.
Hippy Dippy Championship to CTV. That's the best thing he's
He
done.
created
Amen.
the online left sphere in all of Twitch and created Just Politics in Twitch and basically by himself, like just 100%. He made this
that's-
space possible.
He's also
That's
enabled
a
the
large
careers of a lot of trans women. Like, look at Demon Mama. Like, Demon Mama can directly trace her existence on Twitch to Destiny creating the space and
Fuck you,
creating a
Tab.
platform
Tom.
for Vosh.
Demon Mama
And
has been
therefore for Demon
stagnant
Mama.
because of like Destiny has continually went after Demon Mama and
Like,
in
doesn't
this
Demon
space.
Mama
Demon
And
Mama
use
she's
is
had
like
to
the
deal with a
open
mental
source
health
code
background.
Wait,
for her
okay,
website
everybody-
created for Destiny?
Wait.
That is not true.
wait,
That's
wait, I'm gonna-
disgusting that you
Hey. Okay, let's stop. One person at.
So wait, can I get 2 screenshots of Keffel saying I took your income, #1, and then the second one is her and Hassan's chat? Can I get those screenshots in chat just for a friend? I'm just curious.
the list anyway, so it's perfect. And then Josie can respond. Tap.
The reason I bring this up is because people act like Destiny's been this like malignant force that has like pushed trans people away. And that's absolutely not the case. Like, the reason why we have trans politics and these discussions happening on Twitch and these political spaces where people like Vosh and Demon Mama and all these other people are in it and engaging with it is because Destiny created that platform. And I think it's, you know, it's the perfect proof of how when you have controversial ideas, people rise to challenge them, right? And so I think that's fantastic. I think you need to have people like you.
Oh, the
Jason,
thing in
on
Hassan's
this
chat was
platform,
for
you know,
a different
discussing
person.
and
Never mind.
challenging ideas. I don't think you're right about things. I don't think you're right about Destiny brigading. But like, I think you need to be able to have discussions. And I think it's a terrible shame that Destiny was banned for that reason.
Taft, do you have an example of like, I'm sure you'd agree that like doing good things doesn't like exempt you forever. So like, what like, probably a silly question. What would like Destiny have to do for you to go like, okay, this, yeah, thanks for the help, but kind of over the hill now?
I
What
think
would
if
it
we looked at Destiny's involvement on the platform and we saw that as Destiny like rose and grew in prominence, like you had trans creators that were then leaving, right? And that was a problem. Like, you no longer were able to hold on to these trans creators. I think that would be a really good point in the favor of like, okay, Destiny is actually this malignant force that's pushing, you know, trans creators off the platform. But it's the opposite. Like the longer Destiny's been on the platform, like it's gotten more and more progressive. So the effect that Destiny's having, like if anything, I think is creating the progressive and the political space.
I thought of something, Josie. What about the fact that Destiny got hundreds of people to come out to canvass in Georgia and contributed to us taking the Senate and getting a trans woman reviewed and confirmed as Assistant Secretary of Health? I mean, it's not like he's solely responsible. He got a lot of these young kids out there for the first time to knock on doors. I met a lot of these guys. They would have never come out, ever come out.
Inexcusable.
Yeah, I do door knocking. I used to do door knocking for a living, IRI. Like the idea.
Wait, link the number of votes she got, please.
Like,
Link the number
got
of.
some people to go knock on Georgia. That's great. That's great. But he also
He got
made
kids-
a
he got
candidate
kids to
lose.
drive
He
for,
also
like,
made a
hours.
Democratic candidate
Country.
lose as well. He also made a Democratic candidate
What,
lose
some
as
mayor?
well because of his. Yeah, some mayor. Do you think that local politics is important?
Oh my God, the
Come
performative
on. You're
outrage.
discounting his
come
operation
on.
where he invested tens of thousands of dollars and weekend after weekend and even pay. I mean, he inspired these kids to come out, Josie.
That's great, but you know what? Like, and he also lost the campaign. But I'm not gonna go down
come on.
that road because look, I people go out and knock on doors, and do you think that there were millions and millions and millions upon millions of dollars that were flooded into Georgia for that race? You know just as well as I do.
Ask Afro Sabi what she thinks about Destiny's contribution. She won't tell you he just got some kids to knock on doors. Come on now, that's not fair.
But the thing is, like, I'm trying to get my point. There's like a lot of people in here now.
Erudite, I got you, no worries.
Go ahead, Erudite. I'm gonna recollect my thoughts.
Could I maybe just
I need
ask
to
the panel
stop.
who
I
he
need
would
to
have
stop.
a career if it weren't for Destiny
I
actively
need to stop.
boosting and promoting them?
Would or wouldn't?
Who would or
Wouldn't who wouldn't have a career without Destiny, basically? Like
I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I don't know. I wouldn't be where I'm at now for sure.
He's had an impact. I like to think people like me for me, but you know.
This is the person you interviewed for their campaign.
I've debated
Yeah.
him before, and I think that brought a lot of my viewership up, but I wouldn't attribute my entire channel to Destiny. But I think that him being in debates that I've debated on have majorly contributed to the amount of debates I've been able to be on.
Sure.
Yeah,
How
if
many
you're-
people do we know of also use his website copy that he just freely gives people that he's fully paid for to help boost their own platforms as well?
Like
Half a
Demon
dozen.
Mama.
I think
Josie, I
Dylan, you
don't
mentioned
think-
it before, and you asked him personally to use it as well, which is super great. Demon Mama, I believe there's a couple others as well. Bosch potentially as well.
But here's the point. Everybody believes in the bump, the Destiny bump, okay? But the truth is, a lot of his audience follows him, and they love him, and you know they like the blood sports and all that kind of stuff. And this cuts both ways. So debating Destiny is good for anyone. And on top of that, I want to personally, because I think he's watching at this point, give him fucking props because he's one of the few larger creators that will debate smaller creators. If you got a fucking problem with him or a problem with his perspective, you send him an email and he says, okay, I'm streaming at this time, let's fucking run it. And even if you're a shitbag, even if you're not the best at public speaking, he'll fucking run it with you. That is a huge public service to the Twitch community because the truth is, a lot of other people are very optical with their choices, or they're very selfish with the way that they spend their time. Where they're like, hey, I'm a fucking 1K or 2K or 3K fucking Andy, or I'm a fucking, 20K Andy. I don't have to talk to your fucking 50 viewer bitch ass. And they don't. So that's kind of where that boosting, I think, is huge and a massive public service. But, the thing that I just wanted to push back on with your point is I do think the space would have existed without him, but I don't think that the amount of people who were able to crawl from a small tier to a medium tier would be anywhere near as big if he wasn't willing to do the debates the way that he does. So, yeah, that's an overwhelming positive.
And I'm just gonna say one thing, IRI, like, you know who won Georgia? The black voters that actually went out there and registered and organized black voters to go and vote. It was not Destiny. And to try to say that it was like Destiny was like the big linchpin that made sure that Georgia won is garbage, because it was that organizing effort that actually got there to make it be where it is. Like, you can.
I didn't say anything near that.
But I'm just saying, you are putting a lot of weight on that. And look, and I see
It
that
deserves
a lot of
weight.
here,
It deserves a lot of weight.
And he like so the fact of the matter is, when we're looking at this platform and we're looking at the things that are happening here, we are talking about, oh, he contributed to the space and all that type of stuff. Yeah, and he also knew better than anybody what would get him banned off this platform. And he's been pushing that line for a long time.
No one
And,
knows
you
what's
know,
going to get
Imagine
you
being
Twitch
imagine
sucks.
being a creator who doesn't try to push the line in order to get the competitive edge to continue growing their career. I mean, come on.
What do you mean? That you think that you have to be an abusive, abrasive asshole to be a good creator on this platform?
When your shtick
To be
is
a big
being
one.
abusive, yeah, not abusive, abrasive.
Like
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
all, you know how many huge streamers that exist outside of Twitch politics? If anything, Twitch politics is a stunter in your ability to grow viewership on this platform.
Yeah, because you're all fucking boring.
His
Because you're
statistics over
insane.
the
You're a
past
fucking
5
loser.
years
Yeah,
is
no
weak.
shit, you don't grow at all. You don't have anything at all. You have no perspective to offer. You didn't have anything when you were running for Congress. That's why you got like 3,000 fucking votes in your election. You don't have anything to offer as a content creator. All you do is you virtue signal the hardest, like most brainless idpol takes you possibly can. And you want to sit here and cry that there's no growth here? Fuck out of here, fucking loser.
Big streamer that is in Twitch politics is gonna be seen as an asshole by one group or the other. Let's be 100% honest. Politics is very divisive, and
Okay,
whatever side you sit on, the other side's gonna see you as an asshole who doesn't know shit. So I mean,
Yes.
I don't know where you're going here when you're
Ultimately,
saying he was an
this is
asshole as a Twitch politics debater. Yes, we all are. We all are assholes because we all have opinions that other people disagree with. They're like, that person's an asshole. I guarantee in Dylan's chat, there's 25 million people calling me an asshole right now.
Which
I
was 25
guarantee
million
it.
people. Josie,
Yeah, but
Hold on, to be clear, in case people, I don't think that we solo won Georgia, okay? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and claim that because that would be outrageous, okay? But between my canvassing for Georgia and Omaha, I spent like $100,000 of my own money, okay? And I spent like, how many fucking weekends did I fly out to Omaha, Georgia? It must have been like 14 weekends, right? Because I think it was, maybe not, maybe it was like 10 weekends. Because I flew out 4 or 5 weekends for Georgia, and then I flew out like 4 or 5 weekends for Omaha. Like, it's a lot of time I flew out for. It was at least 100,000 of my own cash. And we had the single largest canvassing operation in the state of Georgia on 2 of the weekends we were there. The largest one. So like, did we make the whole election? No, of course not, right? If we wouldn't have been there at all, would they have still won? Most likely. I'm pretty sure they did. They had decent enough margins. But like to just say that like, oh, it was nothing or who cares? Like, fuck you, dude. Fucking like I had more canvassers in one weekend than you've ever had canvassing for all of your political campaigns combined for your entire short-lived fucking life. Like, get the fuck out of here. We're like, oh wow, they didn't do anything.
It gets fucking clipped out of context and fucking thrown onto LSF and other platforms, then you are going to have slower growth and you're not going to rock it the way that everybody else does. Again, like I'm just going to repeat this one more time. Vosh literally cut his teeth on basically a pedo analogy in Glassing Israel. That's the Glassing Israel guy, and then using that notoriety allowed him to rocket up the platform along with his rhetoric skills. Destiny, I hate to remind everybody, he was the fucking incest is ethical guy for a long time. So basically he took an indefensible position and it became a huge meme in the community and people were like, oh, those weird fucks over there. But he also trashed a bunch of people in debates. So on one hand, we can say, oh, you need to calm down, calm your tits, don't be so edgy. Don't post the N-word to Twitter, Destiny, jeez. But at the same time, part of his edginess is also what attracted all of us to his platform in the first place, is we knew that even if it was a boring conversation, if 1 or 2 memes came out of it, people were going to watch it. And so I think it's easier to coach or teach than it is to be the thing.
I tell you what, going forward with this Ukraine and Russia stuff, I'm scared to live in a world where it's just people like Hassan saying that Russia's justified to take Crimea. You know what I mean? There's nobody to push back on voices like that. So I think people will rue the day. People will rue the day that a voice like his is gone. Because who's going to stand up and say, nah, dude?
My issue with all of this narrative that is frustrating is like I actually am really sympathetic to like the trans community in general. Like I care quite a bit about the community and the suffering, particularly from a mental health standpoint, right? The issue is that everything that he's done wrong that you've like pointed to, Josie, I feel like you've been really not characterizing. You've been characterizing it in probably the worst possible light. I'd say some of them are bad, yeah, but when we look at the good things like he's done, like IRI brought up, he was incredibly dismissive, right? He actually boosted you as well. He gave you a free interview. He helped you when you were doing like political stuff. And I'm not saying like now that don't hear me. I'm not saying well you should just be grateful. I'm not saying
she got mad at
you
that
can
one,
be
didn't
boosted
she?
by something
Yep.
and then later decide that you fucking hate them. That's fair enough. But the issue is that the characterization and the narrative you're using. The one example I said, can you give me an example of regrading? And the example you said is I went into a chat, said some things. I imagine that you pissed people off. I'm guessing, right? And then a bunch of people jumped into your chat and talked to you. Do you have any evidence of Destiny saying, go, guys, get into a chat, go and brigade her, right? Do you have any evidence of Destiny coordinating this? Would you
But
just have
that's
it
the
where
same thing
you
Connor
instigated
is
a bunch of
saying. You're
people in
gonna-
his chat, and then they jumped into yours? And did you
It's the
bring those
same
transphobic people to him so that he could ban
Okay,
them? Because he's
okay.
very
So
clear
what
that
about
he'll
what
do
about
that.
what about the 24 people that I've had to ban in my chat?
Oh my
Over
god, the
course of this
24
entire debate? What about them? What about those DJs?
What did they have to do
When
with
they
it?
say-
I have 10K fucking
That's
viewers.
exactly what I'm talking about. Like you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna dismiss like all of these things and all these claims. And the second I say, hey, my community's already had to ban 24 people here in this chat with somebody literally saying, welcome from the DDG community, and then
It's a
immediately
troll.
going at me.
It's a troll. You think that's actually somebody from my community? That's probably a fucking groiper listening that's
Do that?
trolling
No, but
you.
I'm saying his name negatively, and now I'm getting brigaded for it. Like it's very
That's not a
common
brigade,
just to be
though.
able
That's
to-
not a brigade.
Not a
Oh
brigade.
This is people
my
disagreeing
No,
with you.
Wait,
it's
wait.
not.
One at a time.
Josie, you know how many people I have given my chat when I go on Hippy Dippy and then disagree with me and they came from another viewer's chat
Yep.
and I've had to ban them or they just leave because I'm not addressing their comments? I feel like that's just a part of debate.
Yep.
To where it's when you're in a debate, people from other communities' chats are going to pop in yours to tell you exactly what they're thinking because they think they're important and they think you're gonna care when they type in your chat telling you how shit you are and how much shit your opinion is. And it just doesn't happen. There's a guy, Wyatt, I don't know who the fuck he came from, but he came into my chat telling me how shit my opinion was. I said, hey, I'll talk to you on Discord afterwards.
How many times have
And
you
he's
been
like,
hate
nah,
rated?
leave. How many times
How many times have you been hate rated on this platform?
Oh my god,
I've had
dude.
probably
They're all
people from other
victims.
viewers'
She's
chats.
such a
Like
fucking
literal
victim.
hate raids, like people coming in.
She's such a
so-
victim.
so-
How many times
so
have
when
I
you're
been
saying-
hate
No,
rated?
I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
Jesus.
I'm just
So when
saying
you're
that
saying
being a
hate
trans woman on this platform, you get hate rated quite often.
You don't,
I'm just
dude,
saying,
I'm
like,
sorry. This
I'm
person
not
doesn't
saying
know what the
Wait,
fuck
wait,
hate
wait,
is.
wait,
Holy
I'm not
shit.
saying
Get
anything
the
about
fuck outta
Destiny.
here.
I said hate rated, period.
You're
so
not
don't
saying
even go
anything
there
about
and act
Destiny?
all freaking shocked about it.
What do you think this conversation's about?
I
It's
don't
not just
know, but
about
maybe
random.
that the fact that I'm getting hate rated right now, the fact
my
that I'm now
God.
my moderators are now sitting there doing more because I sit there and I talked about being hate rated. Like, do you understand that it's
Listen,
literally happening in my community? Go in
I've
my
said
chat.
some real
Go in my
fucking dumb
chat right
shit
now.
before.
And,
Right,
can I
yeah.
be clear,
What a
Josie?
weak fucking loser,
Anyone
dude.
in my chat goes to yours and does things like that, please screenshot their name so I can ban them immediately.
Yeah,
I
screenshot
genuinely want you to do
So
that.
just screenshot all of the people that I just banned and send them to you.
Ideally,
Sure,
yeah,
Why
with,
not?
like,
Oh, no.
Because that
Moderating
seems
my
like
chat
a
is too
really
hard.
reasonable thing for.
I'm supposed to
You don't
moderate
have
my
to.
whole fucking
Then
community and
what
she can't
else
send a
do
few
you
screenshots about
do
banned
to
chatters?
protect things like this? And this is the issue: is Destiny has done actively this. I would say Destiny has gone above and beyond for tone policing and controlling his community as much as possible. But there are limits to it, and a lot of the limits that we have is that we have to be reactive in how we tone police. We don't have a ton of opportunity for proactive, other than the things that we talk about and promote within our actual content.
I'm just
I'm
wondering. I
saying
can't
that
think of like,
banning Destiny helps.
is there like any big creator you could like take shots at and not get a few of them in your replies or events and do your comments or anything like that? Like, is that
Anybody?
possible?
A single
When someone's got,
one?
like a few thousand viewers, like.
I don't think so. I think
I
when
make
someone
fun of
has a few
Hassan
thousand-
all the time.
I think when someone has a few thousand viewers, if you mention them and tag them to where their viewers are going to see them, or if we're a debate like this, we're probably Destiny's watching right now.
Yep.
I would probably assume he's probably on YouTube watching this debate right now, watching us talk about him. But if they're watching us talk about him and they're like, hey, I want to talk to this person because they're disagreeing with the person that I watch stream all the time and I believe in what he's saying, yes, like I think that would happen. I think that if you're going to talk bad about somebody, then someone from their chat is going to go into your chat and try and defend them. That's just kind of the play of the game. Every time I've been on Hippy Dippy, I've had people from other communities come over to my chat and tell me how shit my opinion is. I've seen Dylan's chat. Dylan's chat absolutely hates me. I find it hilarious. But I mean, honestly, I make jokes about it. I tell my haters to subscribe because it keeps me around longer for them to hate me longer. They have more of a hobby hating me if they subscribe because it keeps me around. So, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it. And I feel like you're taking the most, like, anti way to look at everything right now. And I feel like it's just because of Destiny. I feel like it's just because Destiny's name is there that you're taking the most anti-view possible and then trying to publish that.
This has been something that my community has been dealing with
for
since they've
years.
been on the platform.
Oh my god.
Okay, like, do you
Everybody,
realize that
I shouldn't
this is
have to give you
something that
evidence.
I and my
I'm
community
better than
have
that.
dealt with?
I'm a
This
woman.
is the
I don't
first
need
time that I've
evidence for
actually
my
openly
claims.
talked about
I can just say
Destiny
whatever the fuck
since
I
8
want,
months ago.
and you should believe
and
in
if
me
you
because
were
I say
to
the most
look at my
bitchy
chat
fucking
and
tone
before
possible.
all the
And if
bannings
I
started
act
happening,
indignant enough,
you would
every single
understand
thing
why
I
my
say should be
community
believed
doesn't do that.
100%
Because of the
without
fact
any
of the matter
evidence
is,
whatsoever.
I have my community that sees it all the time, and it adds to their mental health issues. And
Bro, then log the fuck
this.
off.
Trigger
What the
warning
fuck
for
is
self-harm.
trigger warning?
I had
Oh,
a
no.
community member take their own life about last year when they were in the middle of their transition because their family rejected them. Okay, I have no idea if
nice.
it was because of something that happened on my platform.
I'm killing trans
but I
people.
know that
I'm
that
actually
happened.
that's true.
And
that's
it has been one of the most difficult things that I've had to
I'm
deal with.
killing trans people.
So when I
Yes.
talk about these issues,
That's what's
they're
happening right
very
now.
real because I deal with this all the time. Like it's my life. Like I do research on this shit. Like I do research on the fact that people are more susceptible to ideation because of the fact that the society that
What a
they live
fucking
in don't
loser.
respect them.
When people weaponize people's suicides, I don't think they ever cared about those people. When people take a person's suicide and then they try to use it to win another debate, like in this type of manner, I don't think you can never reference a friend's suicide. But when you are trying to like leverage that, whoever killed themselves, Josie doesn't give a fuck about that person at all. She probably even fucking know this person. It was probably a random mod or viewer, and she's like, oh, they killed themselves. Oh wow, and then they did a big cry stream for like 2 hours, maybe got some donuts, and then moved on. No fucking shot did you give a fuck about this person, because if you truly did care about that person, and they're showing signs of this or whatever, then you just have them step back. Like what were the messages like? Like to even bring this out and imply that I'm literally making trans people kill themselves because of hate raids that I'm not even coordinating, like actually fuck you, like to hell, to the deepest circle of hell. What a fucking loser, dude.
I mean, the answer is yes or no. Have you trashed Destiny for approximately about 2 hours?
I've done the behavior, yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, Destiny has thousands of viewers. Probably right now, I have no idea. I can go to his YouTube and probably check. It's probably live.
Wait, are there
right
only
now
4
watching.
bans right now?
But
Are there only 4
he has
bans
thousands-
RTBan or whole
he has
chat tonight?
thousands of viewers. Now, I don't know. You said you've banned dozens. That's less than 1% of the people that are watching him right now. And on top of
I
that,
have to stop, dude. This is not
I don't
healthy.
know how he's supposed to control.
I'm
his
actually getting
viewers.
triggered.
I can't
Like, I'm not
tell you
memeing, I'm
one of
actually
my
triggered as
viewers
fuck
is
right
one of the
now.
people that came over there. Unless you tell me the people that you've banned, and I look through the people that were watching my stream, and I say, oh shit, that was one of my viewers. Okay.
Wait,
well,
RTBA, are you
I'm
100% sure that she's only banned 4 people tonight? Is this 100%? Or is there a chance you're going to be wrong and somebody's going to say this and they're going to look really dumb?
Because that's not something I accept in my community. I've told my community that I don't accept that, and I will ban them if one of my community members came over there and just started trashing you. But you've talked trash about Destiny. I wouldn't.
I talk
Destiny,
trash about his actions.
which is Destiny. Okay, so
Yes,
Yes,
sorry,
unbelievable.
sorry,
I wouldn't expect less. I wouldn't expect less than one. I mean, I would expect less than 1% to come over to your viewers, to come over to your Twitch, since you've made it publicly known that you're trashing Destiny, and try and fight back against that. That's
She's
not
timing
something
people
I would-
out? If she's timing people out for hate rating, then she's a fucking idiot. If somebody's hate rating, why wouldn't you just ban them?
That Destiny's viewers are going to sit here and try and come back against me just because I'm
Did I
talking.
start the conversation that way? I literally said that I know that I'm coming in on, and it's gonna be a matter of time before people come in here and start talking shit, and it actually is happening currently.
EGG, stop it. I know you're watching.
Like you've had to ban.
stop.
Like how many people have you had to ban specifically? To
I don't
Is it
know
just
yet. I
insult
haven't
context?
counted. I don't have my moder.
I'm not asking as a gotcha, just to make it clear. I'm actually just trying to get context.
I
of
don't
what
know.
you're
I guess I
talking
can
about.
ask maybe my moderators
Yeah, what's
and
the
tell me what the
damage
count
tonight?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
They don't ever have numbers for
I'm gonna
anything.
Switch sides again. Fuck it. Like, so yeah, like, okay, for the DGG guys, 10,000 viewing right now. Yeah, Josie's currently in a fucking 1v8. Not
Good,
fucking
fuck her.
dollars, but
If it was me in a 1v8 over against trans
the
people,
other-
everybody would be
talking
cheering it
about,
on.
DGG, not you. guys.
Talking shit about my kids, saying
But,
my wife is a fucking
so again,
Nazi.
With, like, counterpoints, you made a point earlier about edginess. Okay, so sure.
Calling my
like,
other wife Lauren a Nazi.
I don't have
I'm
a
just
problem with
kidding.
edginess, okay? Like, I guess you made a
I
comment
hate
about
my fucking
age,
wife,
but
dude.
I'm 30 years old, you know, but yeah. I think the edginess isn't really the problem. I think not so Erudite made a point earlier about like being like empathetic about like the specific vulnerabilities of like trans creators. I think that's maybe a point where you could say that there's a line between being edgy and something like the kind of like I mentioned earlier, the one-upmanship that Destiny sometimes engages with. Like for example, like using someone's like suicide attempt in an argument. I think we can agree that
Doe is one of the
there's a point where
worst
edginess
types of
just
people
becomes,
on the
like,
platform. I'll do it a million
unnecessary.
times.
I don't
Fuck
think
you.
it's good for him.
You fucking.
It makes him look like a dickhead. And
When-
say everything.
When you do a suicide attempt, which is eating 8 Benadryl, that was her suicide attempt, by the way, okay? When you do that and you immediately go to Twitter and then you write love letters to people and tweet it for everybody to watch, all you're doing is validating the concept of the attention you can get by attempting suicide. That's all you're doing. Why the fuck would anybody think that's a responsible way to talk about public health, to talk about suicide attempts, to deal with a mentally ill or suicidal person? It's like one of the most cancerous, damaging, fucking disgusting things you can ever fucking do. Yeah, I'm gonna make fun of her for that. That's fucking ridiculous, okay? Somebody eats 8 Benadryl, say they attempted to kill themselves, and then they come online and they put their ex on blast in some shitty fucking 4th grade fucking Tumblr poem or whatever on their Twitter, and they get a bunch of love from it. Yeah, you better believe I'm gonna make fun of that motherfucker. Unbelievable, of course. Just, where do we go?
And in a sense, I feel like it's a disservice to like the actual transphobia that people do experience. To just
Counterpoints.
call it all transphobia.
Thank you. Sprout saw me confused. I was trying to figure out which one left. What's the counterpoints? Okay, is there anybody else who want to say anything else before we wrapped up? Wonderful. Then we're going to do closing statements.
Hold on.
Short.
Yeah, closing statement.
Super short. So we're going to start with IRI.
I'll
Okay,
wait till
look.
last.
Okay.
I know Josie's been beat up on tonight. I want to say that streaming for me is easy compared to Josie. I admit that the trans people on this platform have a rough time. It's not easy. It's like streaming on expert mode with one hand tied behind your back. And so
How?
I feel for you.
I wish I was,
And-
dude. The difference between a trans person and a cis person is every single person that makes fun of you when you're a trans person gets fucking permabanned. It's the strongest fucking armor in the world. This sounds base as fuck. You're telling me that I can go onto Twitter and I can call somebody's wife a Nazi, and when they make fun of me, I can get them banned for it? That sounds like the best fucking ability ever. This is some fucking alternate world, fucking Marvel superhero shit. The superhero that gets to go and do whatever the fuck they want to somebody else, and then when anybody retaliates, the actual like forces of Earth come and fucking crush this person. This sounds like the most base fucking streaming ever. Every insult against me is transphobic. I can say whatever I want, and anybody that argues against me gets fucking banned. Meanwhile, people are making fake rape threats about me, insulting my family, my height, ever calling me a gusano, racial slurs, like whatever the fuck. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Get some random DMs. I get some random hate, but it's what.
Also, being able to fly would be cool.
But I think the net good of Destiny far outweighs the negative. And that I can't convince you of that. All I can do is share that. But I think getting a bunch of young people to drive halfway across the country and dedicate weekends of their lives and money and time to knock on doors in Georgia and help. I'm not saying that he got Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff the victory, but to help to arrange the largest canvassing operation on certain weekends there. I think that's huge. Some of these kids will stay involved in politics for the rest of their lives because of what Destiny did and what he continues to do. So I'm sorry, but I just see Destiny as such a net positive that I'm blown away that people are so angry at him because of some extra moderation they have to do for their channel. I'm sorry, but I think we all lose now that Destiny's gone. I think the whole space is going to hurt, and people don't even know it. They'll see, I guess, let's see where we're at in a year.
Okay, next we're going to throw it to Loner.
Oh yeah, fuck, what was I saying? Yeah, Taft, I think you were mentioning I think you were referring to my comment when you mentioned the transphobia thing. It's not just about transphobia, okay? Like it's like about things like mental health and all that. Like so, like say Destiny will like acknowledge that some smaller person who he thinks is suffering from like mental health issues, and he'll do the thing where he says this person's mental health is not being helped by their engagement on this platform, and then he will go public and talk to his like much bigger audience about like specifically about their mental health. So. Like, I feel like no one's really engaged with that question. It's just like,
Yeah, here's the engagement. Talk shit,
okay, I
get
agree,
hit.
but
That's the way of the
I don't know
world.
why it's kind of difficult for people to like acknowledge there are like lots of places where a bit of like restraint would have been not only like better, but also just like very easy.
I want to see these
Does anyone
people show the
talk about
restraint.
it?
I want to see it. I really wish they could.
Nobody can respond.
Just a day on my Twitter account.
Oh.
When you have people saying the most fucked up, insane shit about you,
Now I'm gonna throw it over to not so.
and you're
erudite.
supposed to treat them like you're the fucking Pope? Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
dude.
I would echo a bit of
Like
what
retarded
Ira said.
children.
Again,
That's how you're
sorry to
supposed to
steal
deal
my
with all
opening
of
and
them.
closing from you now at this point, but I think it is beyond clear to me, based on what I've been seeing with the Don't Say Gay bill and just a lot of reactionary policy that we're seeing in America, that absolutely there is a lot of work to be done when it comes to trans
You gotta light the
advocacy
shrines? Yeah,
and
I'm trying
actually
hard now.
making space and just like basic human rights for trans people. I think that is unquestionable to me. The problem is that when we cannibalize our own, we actually lose some of the best people who are doing good work for it. Now,
Jesus Christ.
no advocate is perfect. I think even if we looked at any of our own personal histories, there's probably shit that you can come up. The issue for Destiny is he's an edgelord and has been doing it for 13 years, so you're going to find a lot more of it. This doesn't excuse all of the behaviors, but fundamentally what we need to do is figure out what our priorities are, what are the most important things to advocate for, and work really hard to make those spaces. I'm really disappointed with how the trans community,
How do you feel
not
about
the trans community
boycotting?
at large, I would say, like,
No one
Josie's
cares.
community and
It won't do
whatnot have been
anything. Don't waste your
characterizing
time.
Destiny. I think that there's a lot of bad faith. I wouldn't say bad faith, just like not super charitable interpretations, probably the worst possible interpretations of certain things and dismissive of good, which makes me sad, because I think that we should do our best to hold the same ruler to every type of community content creator, and I don't often see certain content creators getting the same ruler held to them that we're willing to hold to somebody like Destiny. And yeah, I would just like to see that more.
Okay.
Connor's back.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's in the waiting room.
Yeah, we'll make him wait. Waiting. Let's throw it over to Taft.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got excited. I got heated in this discussion. It's because, for me, it's really important that we're able to have controversial discussions publicly. We don't know why Destiny got banned, but we do know that Destiny was not popular among like Twitch moderation. And it's because Destiny was continually willing to challenge progressive narratives on Kyle Rittenhouse or trans sports or whatever the narrative of the day was, if he felt like it wasn't true. And I think having someone willing to do
On
that
Prime Kai.
is really valuable.
That one?
Destiny, he's an asshole a lot of times, and I think everyone should be able to acknowledge that. He's a hard person to engage with sometimes. Sometimes he DMs people Game of Thrones spoilers because he's angry about something.
I never DM'd
But
them.
at the
That was
end of
someone
the
else.
day,
I only
think
posted them
it's really
publicly.
important
Okay.
to have in the Twitch community, and I think it's undeniable
That was some fake
he's done a
news.
lot of good. And he's
However,
built
whoever
a
did make that bot to
political
DM
space
Game of
where
Thrones
we do
spoilers was
have
really
trans
based, so.
We have lefties.
You wanna give me credit
We have
for it, I'll
lots of
take it.
people who disagree vehemently with Destiny. And I think the proof is in the pudding, right? When Destiny is on the platform, he encourages people to come up and challenge him. And that challenging of ideas is what I think is necessary for a healthy, functioning society. So that's all.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it over now to Sprout.
God, I hope Josie gets the last statement about how much of a horrible fucking
I'm
person I am.
sticking to what I originally said. I think that everyone I think everyone should have a place on Twitch. I think this has become the new town square. The internet has become the new town square, in which people get to share their opinions. And I think it is
She
more
asked for the last
effective
word?
to actually
Good,
take
thank
down
God.
bad
I
opinions.
hope she brings
when
up more
they're- when they're
unsubstantiated
available in the
accusations,
public
too.
space, when you actually be able to replay their VODs, or when you're actually able to talk to them face to face or camera to camera. It's more effective to actually take down the positions that way than it is to let them go to some other website. People get radicalized by just staying in that website and following that creator.
Dude, the speed on that arrow is insane.
Say, hey, this is wrong. I think that the best way forward is for Twitch to stop banning people, and I think the best way forward is for Twitch to say, hey, everybody's welcome to share their own ideas. These aren't the ideas that Twitch Twitch supports, but we do believe in free speech here, and we do believe that everyone is able to share their ideas and let their ideas be known to the public. So with that being what it is, I think that Twitch should relax on the bans and let free speech take its course.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it now over to Turk.
Yeah, I kind of echo what Sprout said because, you know, if we're going to have these conversations, we have to be able to do so in a manner that we don't have to constantly walk on eggshells. As we're going into these next conversations, there's going to be a lot of eggshell walking because it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very TOS heavy sensitive topic. And the fact that we have to do that is not a good thing. We should be able to converse with people on both sides of opinions and be able to come to agreement, conclusion on these topics. And that's just a really sad state of affairs. And just because I don't support that Destiny was banned does not mean I agree with the man. The dude is not, conservative. He has some really bad takes that I do not agree with, but I still want to hear his opinions. I still want to engage with people like that because if we can't have the conversations, we're not going to be able to change or come to a better conclusion.
Bro, this arrow
I've
shit
been
is
on
bullshit.
Hippy several times.
Are you serious?
I've changed several of my stances to be less conservative and more, moderate to progressive. And that's why we need to have people on platforms, regardless of some of the bad things that they've said that is potentially TOS. We need to have these conversations, and if Twitch is not going to allow that, I really hope other platforms are available to allow that.
Okay, now I'm going to throw it over to Josie.
Did Connor get to say his words?
Connor, yeah, you left, didn't you, Connor?
All right, cool. So my position is that we're all attracted to blood sports. I think that the power vacuum left by the DGG community on Twitch will be filled, and it's not necessarily going to be better with him gone. Whether it's Destiny or somebody else, that power vacuum will be filled. I am and was thankful that Destiny was willing to share his platform with smaller creators through debate and engagement. I think that's one of the positives that he did in order to give smaller creators a moderate boost to their metrics. But I will concede that he's done a lot of toxic shit that basically has made a lot of people feel shitty. I don't agree with his same moral philosophy. I wish that he would take kind of more of a Christian perspective of turning the other cheek, but I also understand that that's not always possible. And I do agree with IRI that it's a little bit
I like
fucked
Connor,
up
not to shut on him,
that,
but didn't he defend
Destiny
cops
possibly
beating the
gets
shit out of
banned
people?
For talking to Nick Fuentes for 4 minutes for maybe
Saying that sometimes they just
tweeting
need it.
a sarcastic N-word tweet and engaging with trans discourse irresponsibly. But then we have like fucking Hassan Piker over here basically doing Russian apologia. Like what is fucked up and like okay, so is something that's fucked up and evil but palatable better than fucking something that's abrasive and aggressive but not as nefarious? It's a weird fucking standard to have, and I don't like it. And until I get banned, I'll try to fill the slot of calling out bad dog shit ideas, but that doesn't mean that bad dog shit ideas aren't going to exist without somebody calling them out aggressively. So the final thing though is DGG DDoSed me. They attacked my modem. That's why I went down. So I side with Josie, and fuck DGG. They can eat my whole butthole. So yep.
Okay. Josie, your ending statement.
Okay. So I know it got heated. I appreciate the conversation and to allow me to say my piece. I am not the only person on this platform that has grievances with DDG. I just want to make that clear. I am one of many. I just had the honor to be able to speak for
the honor
with that community.
Name names,
the best
loser.
I could, and I know that I wasn't perfect. I know that I didn't have all of the arguments lined up because it was only me, and I tried my best. So I just want everybody to know that this is not a accurate reflection of what the internet of Twitch looks like, or the statement of Twitch. There's a lot of people who do not like the actions that Destiny has done. I do want to address a few other little pieces, which is IRI. I just wanted to push back on one thing you specifically said, is that
Wow,
extra
on a
moderation, big deal. Well, when you're a small content
She's
creator,
banned
and you
four-
only have like 10
she's
viewers,
banned
and you
four
don't have
people.
the
Four
ability to
people.
have several moderators,
Four
like
people.
I do, where I
Four
have like
people.
3 or 4
Four
moderators
people.
going,
Four people.
doing their thing right now.
Four people.
Then
Four
it's nearly
people.
impossible
Four
to
people.
overcome height
Four
rates, and
people.
I've seen people
Four
shut down
people.
their streams
Four
because
people.
they just could
Four
not
people.
take
Four people.
and stop what was
Four
happening.
people.
In fact, Twitch has even put a massive
Sorry.
stance
just
on
speaking it into
height
the air.
rates,
My bad.
particularly for that reason, because it doesn't affect streamers like myself as much. And you know, I'm a relatively small streamer. I'm not huge.
An insanely small
when I
streamer.
get a
An
stream,
absolute
like, I have the ability
WH
to
Omega
bat it
lol,
off,
and always will
but
be.
a lot of small streamers don't get that opportunity.
You'll be known as
that's one
person
reason why
842
extra
that tried to make a
moderation,
career off of
not
shitting
being
on
a big
Destiny.
deal, is just woefully misguided. Now, I wanna say that there was a lot of comments talking about this being a discussion of like, oh, this is freedom of speech, this is the conversation that we are trying to have, and this type of thing is, it's like we are talking about things that were directly targeted toward individuals that are directly harmed with their own platforms, being deplatformed, having Twitch accounts go private, having Twitch accounts be banned. This is something that is more than just a shitty take. There is a lot of things, and there's a lot of evidence to show
A lot of
this, and
evidence.
A lot of that
I just don't
evidence
have
is
any.
destroyed because people delete their accounts and just get off the internet and try to stay away from it altogether. And Tap, I just have to say,
Wow,
and
nice
I'm not trying
closing
to make
statement.
A personal attack here, but out of all the things that Destiny has done, you picked out a Game of Thrones spoiler. Like there is so many things. That
Name
Destiny's
some
done, and
then.
everybody on this panel has even said Destiny's done some pretty fucked up shit. But you choose a Game of Thrones spoiler as,
To be fair, he
oh,
was
he gets
DMing it to
angry.
people.
But the thing is, like, it just shows the level
fucking loser,
of,
dude. Oh my God.
ability to be able to see this from the point of view wholly, because a lot of